It's May 6, 2022. I'm watching the 12 o'clock news. On it, they mention this part of Marvel Studios, or Studio, or Studio, Marvel Studio. The War Theater to you. So I'm watching their newest edition that they're just coming out with on my local. They're doing the newsman refers to it as a publicity blitz. Whatever. They also reference it's Canada and the US. Some joint whatever. It also has something to do with the parenthood of same parent company as this ABC7, whatever. It also references just how much money they capitalize on. Just so we're clear, while I have not a cent to my name, and they're withholding antibiotics from what I need in the local area. They also make me aware that they are not referencing this new character as a white witch. They're referencing a scarlet witch. Again, witchcraft and wizardry is not something that Lewis and Linda speak of. They just don't. I believe that that's something that is spoken of at a subclass, perhaps at like a sepia. If it's a vintage photo and the contrast that was exposed is sepia, they use or look to witchcraft. I don't know how to reference it any other way. I live in a world where they don't believe in this witchcraft. They also, Lewis lives on a planet where his consciousness is somewhat reachable and palatable. But Lynn lives in a morbid rigidity of doesn't want to hear it, doesn't exist. She's not buying it, hasn't had it, hasn't experienced it, and it ain't happening. So that pretty much lets you know how my useless theater is operating. So at all gates, which is why I ignore them like the plague. And so I'm watching this for reference. And it is just further interesting at quantum mechanics and whatever. I mean, they do a good job of explaining everything that I've been explaining and why and how these things all came to be in a kind of sort of but not really way. I mean, you can in directions if you know what to listen for and how to equate it out into the actual real world for which you reboot or wake every day. That small little bit of help and guidance usually makes huge differences. So this is what they're calling it.
Fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe are done waiting. After lockdowns and COVID-related delays, the much-anticipated film...
All right, Lou brought up somebody called Lewis because he's reachable. Lynn is not. She's shut down from the world. So she's Zen Garden City in whatever. So somebody called Lewis, and they're trying to introduce this theory of angels to Lewis because it's not something that he's actively known. First, he's got some whatever teaching him about NDEs and all this other stuff and this hoopla. And I'm like, all right, fine. I mean, again, when you live in a state where they process certain things, and then there's like alien abductions that happen in like a cartel kind of a way, it's really frightening. It's a different kind of alien abduction than the ones that the morons that live here usually jump to in conclusion, but whatever. So, so that happened. So Lou gets a phone call from someone, kind citizen, participant, whatever, trying to help out, I guess. Late in the game, but better late than never. And so she tries to introduce him into what angels are. I think in Greek, this is big in their community. They use the word angel, and then they use the word, and I think it's in the Latin community as well, and then they use the word archangel. So I had never heard the definition of the difference. I know the archangels are in charge of the other angels. So Lou's like, so I'm like, yeah, Lou, what do you got? What did they call you with? What are the humans saying? So he said that this woman told him that there are angels out there, and then there's archangels. Archangels are a form of angel that's able to speak on a global scale or to a global audience, as opposed to just reaching local whatever in their daily effects or after effects. I'm like, oh, well, that's an interesting addition to what I've got going on. I was like, thank you for that pearl of wisdom. Lynn, on the other hand, again, the conversation meanders, because then I get Linda. I mean, it's always balanced for me, because it's like one that believes in everything and one believes in nothing. And I'm just sitting there going, like, you're both wrong, you're both right, and I've got a problem on my hands that neither one of you were helpful with in my entire life.
Film Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is finally in the theaters. It is set in a fractured universe that follows up on plot developments from two big hits, Disney Plus's WandaVision and the latest Spider-Man movie. Considering how well received those two projects were, producers of the film starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange are very excited. And they threw a party for him and his co-stars last night. Our entertainment reporter Sandy Kenyon was there. Sandy, Cumberbatch is the man of the hour right now.
Absolutely, Dave. Benedict is hosting Saturday Night Live this weekend, so the party had to come to him last evening. The New York City premiere kicked off at 30 Rock in the same building where the star was rehearsing the show. Made it convenient. Co-stars Elizabeth Olsen and Benedict Wong joined him. The Cinema Society hosted this introduction to the latest Marvel blockbuster.
What do you know about the multiverse?
Give Marvel fans a movie called Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and the true believers will know exactly what to expect. But the rest of us may be wondering, what is a multiverse?
Imagine that there is a reality dissimilar, very similar, not at all similar to this one, happening in parallel to this.
Benedict Cumberbatch appeared on
In layman's terms, in this area, for the meadow and a flower, one, it looks like a monotheistic way of speaking of polytheism, a different governance or governments all existing at the same time, but not under the same rules.
Live with Kelly and Ryan this week as part of a Publicity Blitz that brought him to a premiere on Thursday night. As Doctor Strange, the star had a crucial role in the most recent Spider-Man movie, which grossed almost $2 billion.
Which also leads to the other truth that when you have this polytheistic whatever, there's going to be individual personalities that when they've never met, they may not be like-minded. They may be similar personality, but when they pass judgment on one another and what one's up to, it turns into this holy brigade of it shouldn't have happened this way. You're all supposed to be some cosmic elder in order to get to those levels. You should not be behaving this way, but here we are. That something went wrong in my area.
And got credit for drawing people back to movie theaters again.
I think this is a rolling continuation of it, and I think these are are films that are made to be seen in an exhibition space, in a cinema, to have a communal experience.
The new movie is a showcase for the talents of Elizabeth Olsen, who is coming off the hit Disney Plus series WandaVision and plays the same character again.
It was really amazing to get to play her now as this confident woman with this clarity and empowered by being this mythic woman, the Scarlet Witch, and I get to milk it a lot in this film.
Did you ever expect to have this kind of career coming out of NYU?
No. I thought I would be doing a lot more theater and occasional independent films.
It was in an independent film that Olsen made a stunning debut. Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene showed her potential.
Never heard of the movie, never saw the movie. I can see there's some kind of parallel based on the wardrobe, but...
The kind of talent that very few possess. Talent that makes this Marvel movie worth watching.
So I really hope this gets people into the theaters to have a good time and be entertained and be scared and go for a ride.
Doctor Strange in the Madness of the Multiverse is expected to gross between $175 and $200 million at the box office in the U.S. and Canada during this opening weekend. It's from Disney Marvel, owned by the same parent company as ABC7. Dave and Lauren?
Wow, you know, a lot of good acting there, great directing, but the special effects are remarkable. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of stuff going on there. I think the Marvel fans are going to love that part of it.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
I think you two could talk about this for a while. And you know who else could? Meteorologist Brittany Bell.
So, that's a lot of money. There's a lot in the series. There's a lot on the Disney princesses that came prior to my arrival that were referencing very specific plot holes and rabbit holes, if you will, in an Alice in Wonderland kind of a way. Not quite sure. They had Jesus and the North Star to orient themselves in a area-specific story. They had already moving pictures by Disney in a wonderful garden type of a way, a Zen garden, if you will. And how one should be looked upon in loving light by one's own existential family for the next generation of what is going to arrive, what's going to need our help, what we need to promote for marriage, because if we don't have marriage and alien breeding program down right, then it is a real problem with future people to look over and keep our whatever going strong. So there's some real disconnects in humanity. I'm fully connected in. I'm just confused why my part was so viciously and torridly affared into like some Moulin Rouge pornography, like governmental pornography way. I mean, not like the real whatever, but it looks really dismal in this local. I mean, I have a vintage photo of sepia. Oh, you want to see? Here's high society today. Well, they're all making $175 million and I don't have a penny to my name. I went out for a walk in the local area. Oh, my God. It even hurts to bend over. And this is where I am. So now, I go, and what is on the cover of this week's paper, this is not tabloid. This is the local actual news. It says Happy Mother's Day, and it's Mayor Adams and his mom all dressed up. Sepia is inside the city doing some mayoral, political, whatever. At the same time, Bayside Times, which is within, this is within the New York Times, or New York? Teams? Right. Little Neck Ledger, Whitestone Times. Again, not a tabloid, just a different publication. They deserve justice. Oh my gosh, and look who it is. This is the outcry of the little guy. The little things that matter in my area, they're here. Too big for the britches and enjoying the socialite life? What's going on right here? Promoting end gun violence. MTA. He's got something LAOLU on his cuff. In Doom cuff. I think hell in German is pronounced doom. DOOM. For it's not all bloom, doom, and gloom. Maybe not elsewhere, but here it is. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It is Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. When the water is not clear, or my skin turns anything other than this translucent white color, it's indicative of sepsis, usually septic. And then sometimes if it's a body of water, it will turn like a murky, brownish sepia color. It's also a filter that they use when they pull different levels of in dark photography. In real world terms, when war theater battles incorrectly and you're transitioning from the light, enlightened, jovial, whatever, into a dark arts, and the dark king is rising, and the dark world is rising, and the dark night is rising, then you have a problem, and there's very real signs of the times. I've just been documenting some of them for anybody who cares. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.